Well, the escape is, well, mostly done. So we'll get to work on something different. A motorcycle. So we're gonna work on, I don't know, it's just gonna be a quick one today, I think. Just gonna quick de-grandpa it a little bit. Take this front fairing off. So there's 4 bolts, 2 on either side, and then this bracket will come off too. And that's got a few bolts in it. And then should be 1 wiring harness down there. I believe is all that has to be unplugged. And then this fairing should be all come off. So get you guys set up and I'll just get working on that. Piece of wire holding this harness in. I don't really need the harness to do that very well. There we go. Oop, there we go. Alright. See about de-grandpa. Even just that looks better. So yeah, so this is just an add-on harness 99.9% of the time. We gotta get out of here. There it is. So yeah, so that just ties in with several connectors that I gotta get. So then these wires here, there's a 2-wire plug on that one. Should probably go, yeah. Then you got your headlight plug. That. Then we got this wire that gets tied into there. This orange thing that's just holding everything. There we go. Oh, that's holding, sorry I bumped the camera there. That's holding brackets for the headlight, other headlight brackets on here. There's already some on here. Huh. Alright, there's that. So we got that wire. This wire is tied into here. Alright, so this one. I'm gonna sit you guys back down. Alright, let's see this. Which then can be popped off of here. Maybe. I'm lucky. There we go. That goes there. This one ties in line somewhere. And then that goes there. There's that. There's that. So it's got headlight brackets on it already. Alright, so that's signals. There's that. Some of this stuff, not quite sure. I'll have to find a wiring diagram probably eventually, but yeah. One of these should be, usually these should be for the signals, and then this is for something else. There's indicator lights, that's tack stuff. And then this is, yeah, this is speedo. Yeah, I remember right. Okay, tack speedo. Okay, this is tack stuff, indicators, and then speedo stuff. Yeah. Oh, I didn't understand this. One wire going into that, so that's two wires for something. That's there, that's there. Alright, and I'll figure what those do later. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, good, it is unmovable. Beauty of these older things, it's all cable driven, so you just kind of pop the cable off and just like that. Well, there we go. Oh, that's not the right spot anyways. Our speedo cable's been riding in the wrong spot for a long time. I think, if I remember right, these are actually supposed to come up. I'll have to do, I think it's supposed to come back in there. Alright, well, that comes off with those and those. That's a nice hefty bolt. That is aftermarket. Metric, but looks nice. Got a lock washer and everything. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to take and see about pulling this gas tank off because there's some gas in it and I don't know how old it is. So I'm at least going to pull tank off, and then this, there's two fuel petcocks on this, the gas tank. There's one here and then one on the opposite side, and this one on this side, the gasket between the petcock and the tank appears to have been weeping. So we're gonna reseal that while we got it off. So yeah, so I'm gonna take and loosen that bolt there, 12 millimeter, and then I got flathead screwdriver because this has got little hose clamps on and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna probably get you guys set up quick here and then get that ripped off. The fuel system appears to... Oh, there's where that goes. Okay. I was saying, fuel system here's like modified, but no, it's just got one hose popped off. Alright, so we'll fast forward a little bit here. I pulled the carburetors out, which on these old bikes, if you ever worked on it, is not necessarily an easy thing to do. You got to move the airbox back, and then you got just enough room to pull the carburetors out, and then in this case, it seemed to work out best to push the carburetors down and slide them out that way. Still is not easy, but that's how I got them out. And the reason I did this, I was going to skip this step just because I wanted to see if the thing would fire on its own, but I was playing around with fuel lines trying to get these routed so that they are back to more of a factory location, because factory there's no fuel lines coming the outside of the carburetor. These lines are actually supposed to be routed more like this, and then this line gets teed in. So I think I'm going to shorten this line up so the filter is down here, a little more out of the way, and then I can have a little stub piece of line to the tee it in, and have the line go to the tank. And that's this line that goes to the tank off that tee is actually for your prime, and this is your normal running fuel. So this comes in, there's a vacuum line that goes on to that little nipple right there, and so when the engine's running, this diaphragm is open, allowing fuel to flow. When the engine's not running, it's supposed to shut fuel off. It's supposed to be an automatic fuel valve. But yeah, see, because you got the vacuum valve, unless you want to crank for forever, you got to have a way to prime the fuel system. But I got to take and I'm gonna one thing with these are all vacuum actuated carburetors. Also, the throttle is open some stuff, but it's I believe they call it an enrichment carburetor, kind of, sort of. But you want to make sure all these slides move freely. In which case, these all do. But there was orange gas coming out, so I'm going to take and drain the bowls, and then, drain the bowls, and then probably pop them off and make sure everything looks, see how dirty everything is inside. So yeah, popping bowls off, it's just 4 Phillips screws on each one. Drain, it's just these little 10 millimeter hex head bolts, which a couple of them have been pliers or vice gripped, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm just gonna get that done, and I guess I'll check back in then. Yes, everyone, we're working on the floor. Remember, low budget. I am working in the heated side of the shop though. So if you know these old Japanese bikes, they love their Phillips. My best advice to you is use a basically brand new screwdriver that's not all worn out, because usually these things get pretty chewed up and can get pretty tight in here. So you do that, usually you're okay. I got all these cracked loose okay. I had one that I got a little nervous on and then it cracked, so we're good. But another trick is you wrap the bowl, and it is surprisingly not terrible for what came out. I had more or less almost red-orange fuel come out. I'm hoping it's possible that it was just fuel stabilizer, but you never know. It looks like that float's set, which is good. What it's set at, I do not know. That's actually a good sign. It's actually really clean. So one thing too is I'm not taking these off of the rail. Is these carburetors should technically currently be balanced, so each one should be flowing the appropriate amount for its cylinder that the motor runs smoothly. So yeah, don't want to mess those up too much. I'm gonna see if I can find a small punch and I'll carefully drive this out so we can pull the needle out and check this seat. The needle, make sure it's not all filthy. Grab this quick. I believe this would be the main jet. Well, I can see through it, and that's a good sign. It's got a nice big orifice, so it's probably pretty hard to get it clogged. I cannot make out the numbers on it. Actually, here, let's look. It is a 137. Yep. 137.5. Alright. Interesting. I don't, off the top of my head, know what the stock jets are, so it probably is a stock jet, but you never know. Sometimes guys play with things and... Nope, okay, we're not touching that. Yeah, so I'll grab a punch and we'll see about popping that out. There we go. Alright. That's got the original brass floats. This one's good. Let's pin now. Pull the needle out. The needle looks pretty good. I don't see any marring in the seat. Oh, let's see. There we go. There's a little strainer screen on it. And I can see light through it, so that's a good sign. Well, maybe this thing got... The reason the fuel's red in it is it got stable put in it, which would be a really good sign. Somebody dumped some stable through it and make sure it would sit, because it sat... I don't remember what the last year license on, but the guy that I bought it from figured it hadn't run in at least 4 years. So... Could be 4, it could be 8. Let's look. Last license in 14. So I'll assume I was ridden in 2014, so that's, well, it was 6 years at the end of, 6 years in 2020, so it's been a while at least. Alright, so we're going to put all this stuff back in. As of right now, things are looking good. You gotta be careful putting these back in because they're slightly pressed in, and you can actually break these ears off. So don't just go wailing on them. I mean, unless of course you want to take and have to fix it, which is usually the solution is buy a different carburetor. You start all over. Important to note that the gasket did look intact, so thus I'm reusing it. So tighten this one up. We'll crack the other ones open. If they look just as clean, I'll be a happy camper, and I'll quick shove these back in. Then I gotta get some fuel lines rerouted. Well, I gotta reroute those before I shove them back in, I guess. So that's one thing with the way these work. There's actually a needle that moves up and, well, these are upside down right now. But there's a needle that moves in and out on the opposite side of this jet. And that's actually what meters your fuel flow. So yeah. But again, bowl's clean, which is usually a good sign. If you see a lot of orangey varnish and stuff in here, that's usually not a great sign, because that usually means it's time to break everything down. But this is looking decent so far. That jet very well might have been clogged before the bike was even parked. You never know. Alright, so I didn't really film a whole lot in this last little bit I've been working on here. I had the carbs out. Let's see, where did I set my light? Had the carbs out, and I was trying to get rid of, I don't know if it was visible before, but the fuel lines before ran this big loop around here on both sides, and it's not how they were factory. And so yeah, so I was reworking the fuel lines. I wanted to make sure the carb balls, which you saw, were actually clean, but I reworked the fuel lines here. Got new fuel line so I can get a little bit, it's a little bit smaller fuel line so it fits in here better, because right on the petcock they're really tight before. So yeah, so I got a new fuel line in, and what I did is I deleted the OCTY. It's the little vacuum control valve that goes right down here, back in here. And what that does is it does a couple of things. It joins the fuel valve, the fuel feeds, so then both petcocks are feeding both sides of both sets of carburetors. And then it also doesn't flow fuel unless the engine's running. Because the way these are plumbed up on this, it made kind of a ball of hose, and I got sick of trying to actually get it to work out right. So what I ended up doing is I crossed over. If I was reading the diagrams right, this front nipple off of the petcocks is the reserve, or not the reserve, but the prime, and the rear is your feed. So I tied the two primes together, because without the vacuum thing, the on does the same thing. So then this is on then. So yeah, so that's kind of where that's at. Figured out if you do a little research, you take the bottom of the air box is where the filter assembly filter gets changed out. You take that out. There's 3 10mm bolts that hold the airbox rigid to the frame, and then you got your 4 clamps. Obviously, you can pull that back and kind of get it tucked down. Then when you do your carbs, they can just tip up and then kind of slide out a lot easier. So yeah, it's getting a little late, but I'm still kind of tempted to throw a little gas in it and see if I can get it to do something. I guess we'll see. I may wait, but we'll see. Alright, so we're gonna go for it. I do still have a fuel leak now, but I think I'm gonna have to change the clamps on the fuel filters down here. Aren't holding tight enough. Up here it doesn't seem like it's leaking, But I gotta change those clamps down there because the fuel filter are technically, I think they're a little bit too small of a size of filter diameter for the hose barb on them. But yeah, so I got a battery rednecked in here with about the sketchiest pair of jumper cables we have, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna find a good spot to set you guys up, and then I got my co-pilot ready over there. He wanted to come out of the shop with Daddy today, so we're just gonna see if we can get this thing to pop off. Apparently the battery does not have enough juice. Stand by. Got the right jump pack back now. It runs! Well, I better turn these off. And it fires on all cylinders. It sounds like it's skipping a little bit, but it runs. So, yeah. That'll end this video, I guess. Took longer than I planned, but next one we start doing some other stuff and maybe see if we can actually get it to run a little bit longer. Right now it doesn't have a lot of gas, and I still technically have a little bit of a fuel leak, so. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you like these old Jap bikes, there's lots of videos out there on them. Thanks for watching.